That's crazy.
Eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
Happy holidays, and welcome back to No Cooldown Podcast, baby. Last one of 2022, man. We damn sure not coming back next week. We on break, but that's beside the point. Thank y'all for tuning in. I am the festive, you know what I'm saying? The joyous, that man tripping the building, just chilling out, you know what I'm saying? Feeling real good. Of course, I'm here with my podcast partner in crime, When Easy. How was you doing, dog?
I'm doing pretty well, man. I cannot complain. Cannot complain. First day of the break for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was about to say, I thought it would have been smooth sailing for me today. I ain't gonna lie, but people just come out of the blue, and I felt like that episode of SpongeBob. I ain't gonna lie. Well, like he was sticking his hand in the candy machine, and then the bus was just waiting for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just hit me when it wasn't supposed to, man. When it wasn't supposed to, bro. But speaking of hit, make sure you hit that 5-star button on audio platforms, especially Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure you go there, search up No Cooldown, just NO space Cooldown, and we'll be right there with the first names you see. You should rate us 5 stars. Go check out all of our other platforms. Excuse me, especially on YouTube at Wotaku channel. That's WOTAKU channel. You know what I'm saying? Go check out all the content on there. Go check out the Home of the Podcast right there. Make sure you check us out on other platforms if they're available. If you're watching on Stitcher Radio, Google Podcasts, you know what I'm saying? As of course Anchor, you know what I'm saying? Check us out there. Yeah, hit us up on Twitter, man, at No Cooldown Pod. Make sure you check us out there, man. Got a lot more content coming, especially for the new year. A lot of new plans coming. And for this last podcast of 2022, it's kind of like you know what I'm saying, a nice little wrap up, man. Tying this whole year in a bow. Got a few stories here, nothing in the warm up, but we got some mains and we got some wrap up. So without further ado, when is you ready?
I am born ready.
Hey man, let's get into it. So first and foremost, we had a juicy, let's say, argument brought forth, from the co-creator and co-writer of the upcoming TV adaptation of The Last of Us, Craig Mazin. Now, he was on record in an interview this week. He stated that the source material in The Last of Us, that being The Last of Us game, the first one, is the best story in history. He stated, and I quote, "It's an open and shut case. This is the greatest story that has ever been told in video games," end quote. Now, Amazing goes on to explain that one of the reasons this is because of the characters, that they're so normal rather than they're larger than life, maybe counterparts that have been attributed to the video game space. So, is Craig right? What's going on, man? How do you feel about that one?
So I think if there ever was time for that kind of a conversation of what is the best video game story of all time, it kind of comes down to a few things. Like, you got to think about it. Like, Last of Us in one game definitely told a really good story. Like, it's solid. It is definitely in the contenders of best video game story. Best of all time, I don't know if that's necessarily true. It's one of those things where, like, are we speaking from a standpoint of, like, that the general masses can understand? Like, it is a very great story if, like, you look at it in the context of, like, the normal average human being could watch this and be like, I relate to these characters, I get it, I love it, as opposed to something like Death Stranded or Metal Gear, where some people are like, what the fuck's going on, none of this shit makes sense. Or like even Kingdom Hearts, like, they're not gonna be like, the average Joe isn't gonna be super happy about Nobodies and the Heartless and all that shit. It's definitely, yeah, it's gonna go over a lot of people's heads. So it really depends on, like, what we're talking about. Are we talking about one single play, like one game with a story that's so good that it captures the heart? It definitely is that. But to say that it's the best one, like, I would argue Metal Gear Solid 3, in my opinion, is one of the best stories in video games. And that's a conversation that needs to be had. So depending on the target audience, I don't think this statement is necessarily wrong, but I don't think it's right either. It's definitely, like, this is so much an opinion, it's not even funny.
Yeah. And listen, we gotta preface this with, of course, this man's promoing like hell. The show's coming out in January, so he gotta say some stuff that's off the wall to get some, get some buzz, get some clicks in there, man. He's gotta, pump it up, man. Make it provocative, man. Gets the people going. But in in my opinion, I get it. I understand where he's coming from in terms of his reasoning, or one of the reasons that he provided in the human story and how grounded it can be in maybe a not too far off ungrounded situation in a zombie apocalypse that's been done. Is it the best story ever told in video games? My opinion, no, it is not. It is up there. I will say it's up there. I absolutely love Last of Us story. You can quote me all day, you know what I'm saying? I'll say whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Out there, you can call me whatever, but we can pin it down. It is definitely one of the greatest stories told in a video game format. Is it number one? I don't think it is, personally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it came out, it was like wildfire. I ain't gonna lie. Beautifully told story, very much up there. But you're dealing with some Metal Gear Solids, you're dealing with a Silent Hill 2 that's out there, you know what I'm saying? And when the more you think about that story, insane, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got personal things. Mass Effect 2 is up there for me. I think it's definitely within a shadow of the greatest story of all time in games, because of how crazy, and there's just so many parameters to it. What do you want from it? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of ways to dissect the greatest story in a video game. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much to blend with, honestly. Like, is it something, what character development? Is it the actual narrative itself and the twists and turns of a plot? You know what I'm saying? Is it connections and references to other pieces of game? Or again, like Wen said, is it the greatest in its own insular story as an isolated project? Like, there's a lot of ways to approach it, a lot of ways to tackle it. Worth a conversation, though. It's worth a deeper conversation to really stack up who really had the best story, you know what I'm saying, in the games. But this is my thing, though. I think somebody else definitely said it. Shout out to Ethos, and I feel like this point is starting to become more and more apparent to me as we go on. I feel like for some people who aren't as embedded into the video game genre, you know what I'm saying, or just video games as a medium, and don't see like the ups and downs and even the smaller projects, you know what I'm saying? They're just used to the major titles, you know what I'm saying, that drop every year. Like, okay, God of War came out this year, I'll play it. Elden Ring came out this year, I'll play it. You know what I'm saying? The random, you know what I'm saying, that thing. They see the marquee thing, and then they're like, oh, this is the greatest thing of all time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they've only seen the tip of the iceberg, or they only seen a part of the iceberg rather than see the whole thing. You're like, okay, they've seen this game. Oh, that's dope. I think it's one of the greatest of all time. What else is up there? I don't feel like people take that extra step to consider, other things might be up there as well. And if there is debates out there, if there is things I see that contradict my opinion of, this story is the greatest of all time, let's look into that. Like literally just yesterday or a day or two ago, I was watching a video and just like the multiple endings of Silent Hill 2, all the design choices that went into how you played the game and literally how gameplay changed that story. Like it's so there's a lot of stuff, bro. There's a lot of stuff you can say, but as long as you recognize just the context that he is promoting his ass off to get y'all to watch this show, you know what I'm saying? As long as we make that known, we can have a civil conversation about the rest of it. But in my opinion, I don't think it's the greatest, but it's definitely up there. I will not sit up here and discredit The Last of Us like it wasn't a masterpiece. It definitely was. But is it the masterpiece? Is it the quintessential work of art in terms of story and gaming? I don't think so. But that's again, it's up for debate.
Yeah.
My opinion could change in a month. I don't know. We gotta do some more research, man. We gotta study this.
For sure. It's a really good conversation to have, but it's one of those things where I don't know if we'd ever get to a solid answer.
Facts. Again, it's one of my favorite phrases. It's an opinionated sport. Man. Everybody's gonna have their reasoning, their sources, all that stuff like that. At one point, I thought Borderlands 2 was the best game I ever played. You know what I'm saying? And at one point it definitely was. It's still one of my favorite games I've ever played. You know what I'm saying? Top to bottom. I thought it was like the pinnacle of gaming when I first experienced it. But then you realize, you expand your palette, and you notice like, there's a bunch more stuff out there. So it's again an opinionated sport.
Yeah, I remember. It's funny because you mentioned Borderlands 2 because I had that same feeling, and then I played Far Cry 3 and I was like, oh no, this is the best game ever made. And then like it just kept it changed like every month.
Like the list always keeps changing. For me, my personal favorite game of all time is always going to be Kingdom Hearts 2. That's not going to change. That's based off of just pure personal bias. Like that will never move. But the 2 to 5 spot have changed consistently every time. They've changed consistently all over the place, bro. Like I be having second thoughts about in terms of like, franchise wise, like what's my favorite sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in terms of like singular games, Kingdom Hearts 2 won't be like, it will stay there forever. You know what I'm saying? Kingdom Hearts is gonna stay in my top 2 or 3 in terms of franchise, but I'm starting to turn my mind. I'm like, yo, man, Mass Effect was really up there, bro. I don't know. I sat there and played through the trilogy. I'm like, son, that got me invested differently. So things change all the time, man. Just how it is.
For sure.
All right, moving forward, we got some first gameplay tidbits and news pieces from Game Informer ahead of Jedi Survivor's release next year, including a new set of fighting stances and mechanics that offer a mix of combat options. I think there's 5 different ones: a single saber with blasters, double saber, you know what I'm saying, etc. Gonna have some enemy variety in the gameplay as well. It's gonna suit those 5 different styles, so you gotta switch and adapt to the situation as it comes. It's gonna be some new traversal mechanics with zip lines and mounts across new spaces, and a new companion embodied in the story. So thoughts on all this new info, how it plays into Jedi Survivor's release?
I think that this is going to be a really interesting game. I love the amount of love it's getting. I think it's going to be on par with like a God of War second, like God of War Ragnarok, like that kind of level of addition to an already solid game. This seems very promising, and I'm honestly really, really excited because ever since Jedi came out, Respawn has kind of been like the backbone of EA, and my biggest concern was like, will their inclusion into so many other of EA's projects hinder this sequel? And I don't think that we're necessarily seeing, at least from what we can see, we're seeing those effects too much. I think that this is going to be a really solid second addition to this franchise, and hopefully leads us a good way into the third,
Yeah. It's hilarious coming from EA because they said single player games aren't profitable. They aren't the way to go in the future. And now they're just banking everything on these single player experiences now. But in terms of Jedi Survivor, it literally, like you said, it's the same case as Ragnarok. How can you add to the game to make it feel familiar, but add those fresh little perspectives? And from what we've seen in terms of the trailers and gameplay tidbits that we've been getting drip fed, it's like the space feels bigger. There's a lot more control you have, and there's a lot more to explore. Like some of those sections where he was force grabbing the dude, you know what I'm saying, and then he sprayed the machine gun and killed the stormtroopers and stuff like that, sprayed him down. Like it feels like from what we see, I ain't felt nothing yet, You know what I'm saying? Pause. But you know what I'm saying? From what we see, it looks like a very, very significant step forward into how Cal is, basically become he's a veteran, bro. It's been 5 years since the last game, so he's become a veteran at what he does, and seeing the skill depth and how he's applied himself, just living out and surviving in the crazy times that he is as the Empire gets stronger and stronger. Like there's evidence that that depth is in the gameplay. You know what I'm saying? That depth of his experience is shown in the gameplay and where he's heading to and how he interacts with the ops and stuff like that. So it's good, man. It's looking good so far. I have pretty solid expectations for this game, man. I feel like they have already set the bar and they have a certain standard of excellence with this series, and I feel like there's not much that they can do wrong in terms of that. The only thing they can do is buff up the story, and I feel like they're gonna do an even stronger job, because I feel like, again, Jedi Fallen Order had a really solid story. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Cal wasn't the most expressive, the most dynamic, main character or protagonist in the game, but maybe this 5 years that'll change him and put his in situations where his stuff gets a little bit tougher. Maybe that'll drive him to be a more dynamic character, seeing all that he's seen in this time span. So from the gameplay tidbits, sounding good. Yeah, listen, I'm ready. My wallet been ready, bro. I told him make room. So
yeah, I'm excited to play this as well. I'm close to beating Ragnarok. I might start Jedi up right after that.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna play next, bro. Cause after I 100% Ragnarok, cause I'm going to 100% it, and then I got a special video cooking up for that one. So I gotta complete everything that there is to complete just to get a full understanding of what's happening. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do Cyberpunk. Honestly, I might do Cyberpunk if there's enough time span between that and like the next like major release in like February or something like that. But we'll see. You know what I'm saying? Plans change every day. People want me to play Dark Souls, and I don't know if I'm doing. Moving forward here, it seems that the theatrics will never ever stop in the Microsoft Activision acquisition saga, as a new private lawsuit was filed against Microsoft to halt the completion of the deal by 10 gamers in California, New Mexico, and New Jersey. So it's not any public lawsuit, just by some random people playing games and stuff. So how do you feel about gamers getting themselves involved in this?
Me personally, I always felt like this entire situation has been very much over me. It's been very much above me, and I personally wouldn't jump to fight Microsoft in any kind of legal battle, to me it just doesn't seem like something that is very much in the financials that of any normal regular person. And I think that it's like good that you're sticking up for what you, not what you believe in, but I guess that's exactly what that is. I'm happy that you're sticking up for what you believe in, but it's one of those things where it's like, I can't imagine you're gonna win a lawsuit against $1 billion-trillion company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm about to say, Big Daddy Phil pockets deep, bro. I don't know what to tell you. That's a tough battle. I feel like this is like a blocking and tackling. Y'all just stalling these men at this point. These are just tactics to stall, because everything we've seen and everything that's been demonstrated is pointing to people who are dissenting in terms of governmental bodies. They're coming around to the fact that, hey, listen, maybe they have a solid argument for why they should acquire it. You know what I'm saying? They've put the right parameters in place to why, they should have it, and that there won't be a problem if it does happen. So it's more of an inevitability at this point. But I just found it hilarious how 10 people were just like, let's sue these motherfuckers, man. Let's make something happen. Let's make something shake. Maybe we get some severance off. And I don't know. I guess they putting it together. I just wonder what caused them to really come to this point. Like, yo, we got to sue them, bro. They did us wrong. They're gonna do us wrong. Like, I get if it was like a coalition of like 100 people or something like that, but it was just 10 random people. It was 10 random people from the States. They was just like, hey, listen, we gotta sue you, bro. They own PlayStations, bro. They gotta own PlayStations.
They definitely plan this in a Discord. They're definitely talking about it in a Discord right now. Like, I don't even know if it'll even get far. Like, I definitely don't think it will. But shout out to them for being able to be like, yeah, we put a lawsuit out on Microsoft. Will this change anything? Very doubtful that it will, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, y'all probably got bread to spend if y'all making this fight. So hey, good luck to you. That's all I say, bro. You could have bought Xbox Game Pass with that shit. Listen, you could have fed your neighborhoods with Game Pass, but now it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyways, moving on. So Tumblr is launching a streaming component to their site called Tumblr Live, rolling out to the US first now on iOS and Android, with the mention of creators earning money via a system called Diamond. So another streaming platform, Tumblr. How do you feel about Tumblr getting into the game?
You see, I used to be on Tumblr, very much not for pornography. And I was a huge fan of the site, but it just kind of fell off after a certain rule change. So I haven't been on it since. But would I stream on Tumblr? 1000%. Why not? Fuck it. Like, who cares? Why not? It really just depends on like if I'm able to. Like, if I can make it work without like killing my computer or whatever, for sure, I'm all for streaming on Tumblr. But that's really the biggest case, because I think it's an untapped market. I could see it being good for streamers, but I could also see it being a big waste of time, because I also very much believe not every single platform needs a streaming service, because we only have so many eyes.
Dead ass. I'm just like, unless y'all bring the old rule back, I don't know what to put. Now I'm playing with y'all. Let me chill out. But yeah, I think you know me, man. I'm just like, listen, if there's another streaming platform that's viable, is competitive, that's good. That bodes good for the market. If you're offering something competitive, man. So I'm all for it. I'm just interested to see what the diamond system is, what that money system is. Now, again, what's the pay split? That's let's get down to brass tacks. What's gonna be your pay split? Because if it's not favorable, if it's not like in the at least on the YouTube side of things, people gonna be like, why we going to you, bro? We might as well just stay on Twitch. If we getting 50-50 or something like that, you know what I'm saying? If we getting cuts of diamonds or whatnot, like it's Minecraft, you gotta have a very compelling price package, especially when it comes to that pay split on the diamond stuff. So it comes down to that. It comes down to literally the price points that you can offer in terms of your service, and how can you support those creators? How fast can you ramp up those creative programs? That's pretty much all it is. That, and of course stability of the site, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you want to throw back some other rules on their regulations, do what you do. I'm not judging you, but you know, we'll see. I'm curious to see how Tumblr makes intro and what they can do in the first few months.
Oh yeah, we'd love to see it.
Yeah. A quick little news tidbit that Sifu is dropping the next part of its free content slate with an arenas mode, plus the release of the game on Steam and Xbox. So I believe 9 new arenas that are coming to the game. Again, a bunch of wave on wave, basically horde mode action, trying to survive against all these random ass dudes that have been assigned to take you out. How you feel about this, man?
It's like, I love Sifu. I be thinking about Sifu all the time, but I really be thinking like, oh man, that was such a good game, and then I just go on about my day. Like, it's a great game, but I just feel like these modes are they're a little too late. Like, you're a little too slow on the draw here. I don't even think I got Sifu still installed at this point. If I go back, I'm gonna go back to play like the story mode again, but that's really about it. Like, I'm not gonna keep it. I'm not gonna keep downloading. Like, it's alright. It was a good game. We moved on.
Yeah, and this is tough for a smaller game that had a really insular experience, just like the single player campaign, you going through it, because like, how do you draw people back into that mode consistently? How do you draw people back into the experience consistently? And it's like a hard hill to climb. I know I'm definitely gonna try it in my off time when it drops. I still have to go back in 20 year the game. Like, I did the first 2 stages, I think, on 20 year. I gotta finish the last few on 20 year. I gotta go back and do it. But this actually, another thing I got to work on, and I want to talk about it at some point, is just what can Sifu do to, again, or just that Sifu brand, the IP, to keep people there consistently, or create something that's, again, even more replayable, adding maybe that co-op component, adding that second person to an experience, maybe in a DLC or a future game, you know what I'm saying? And maybe bringing back some of those elements from Absolver, and maybe adding, again, like the ability to like duel each other in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the full idea fleshed out yet, but you know what I'm saying? If you listen to the podcast, you heard it here first. But having something where there's another player involved, you know what I'm saying? As much as I love single player experience as the next person, I feel like either you have to completely add depth into the character, into like, we didn't get much from the student, you know what I'm saying? We didn't get much lines or anything like from the student whatsoever, you know what I'm saying? You got the general context of the story, you got some from the ops, you figured out more background from the notes and the evidence you collected, but aside from that, it's not like he didn't have too many lines. He wasn't more stuff like that. So you have to add depth somewhere else, and I feel like a great co-op beat 'em up type game where it's you and somebody with the same seafood mechanics in that area. And like, it would be fire. I'm not gonna reveal the whole hand because this might be a video coming later, but that could be something that's crazy that Slow Clap should look into.
That'd be interesting. I'm gonna let them do their work. I'm not giving them shit. We'll see what you do, Slow Clap. I'll be waiting.
Nah, facts, bro. Listen, my you know what I'm saying, my Cash App is Trip27 TRIPP27. If you want to, you know what I'm saying, send me some severance for the idea and stuff if y'all use it. You know what I'm saying? just some.
Or we'll get in touch with our 10 gamer lawyers. And
Facts, bro. We're gonna take a trip to Cali, go talk about them, bro. Don't use it without our permission. Don't use it without the pay, bro. We gonna form a group. All right, moving forward. I'm not sure if you caught it now. But over the past week, Epic Games shut down about 17 games, which is, pretty much run-of-the-mill stuff. They're set it for January closeouts, but a good chunk of them were Unreal titles, including all of the Unreal iterations, so Unreal Tournament, Unreal 2, and stuff like that. And of course, Unreal still has a really, really active competitive scene despite its age. It's like over 20 years old, and there's so many people who develop stuff from those games, like from the base of like the Unreal game itself, not the engine. They create new games and all that stuff, the modder community, but it's brought up a really good conversation piece on how we should treat decommissioning games. If there's a time for a game to be sunset and there's a time for it to be gone, what should be the treatment of that game? I wanted to open that to your thoughts because I thought it was a really interesting piece that we don't talk about too often.
So I think personally, shout outs to Paragon, one of the best examples of a game that like a lot of people, there was a huge cult following, but I'm assuming not enough money being made off of it, because the reason Paragon was so interesting was because that game died and then everything about it was like free. Like you could get all the character models, you can get access to all the files, like they opened everything up. And now as of 2022 we have 2 versions of Paragon out right now that are fully playable. One is Predecessor and one is Overprime. So and I actually played Predecessor. I bought Predecessor. And that's like an interesting, what happened was like the game died and the fans and the people who were interested in it made another one. And I think that is the best way of doing a lot of this shit. Like, hey, we are not getting paid to do this shit anymore. I don't want to do this shit anymore. If y'all want to do it, here you go. Here's all of my tools. Here are all of my notes. Here's everything that I can do for you. You want to keep this going, you can keep it going. And then if the game dies after that, that is when a game is truly dead. Because even to this day, games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 are being played online. Like there's ways of playing these games, and there's still these thriving communities in these spaces. But there's just like a lot of like the gaming companies would just be like, no, we decided it's going to die, so it's going to die. It's one of those things where it's like I don't know if it'll ever happen with something like Unreal Engine, because maybe Epic will see this game rise back up and they're like, yo, where's my cut, because this was actually my IP. So that's like where I would love to happen, but I don't know if people would be willing to say like, we're not doing anything with Star Fox anymore, here we're gonna give you all the models and all the stories we had for Star Fox. You know what I'm saying? Like that would especially Nintendo, yeah, like especially Nintendo, like that company doesn't even release games of the franchises that aren't dead. So imagine it would be a great way of doing it, but I doubt that we'd ever see it because money.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate root of all these things right now, man. But I very much agree. I was going to bring up that example as well of like, Paragon and how, again, they became open source when they realized they couldn't support it further. And it was like, listen, you guys have it. See what you can do with it. If you want to, yes, no, cool, whatever. And something good came from it. And the cream is rising to the top with these 2 versions in Predecessor and Overprime. So having, certain games. Now, if it's like a Babylon's Fall, you can leave that dead. I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can open source for it in like 5 years or something when the IP runs out, when the copyright just runs out or something like that. If they want, cool. But if it's a series that's really marquee, that had a huge cult following, that had lasting staying power, and it's still unfortunately getting shut down, I feel like there needs to be options that have to be explored to where you can either open it up to the people or have it somewhere that's accessible for the people so that they can consume it still. As minimal of a cost, a cost incursion as possible. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, it could probably still earn you money if you put it up for a certain price. Like we say this time and time again, Nintendo literally shoots themselves in the foot annually because they do not release any of their old games on the eShop. They have so many great franchises just dead, and people was like, you know what? Cool. We just gonna go to these emulators, bro. Catch you later. Have fun. And they're just like, yo, we're not gonna do it. Sorry, guys. We're putting our foot down. You're putting your foot down on a pile of money that you're not picking up, dog. Like it's just it's very, very interesting to see how strongly some companies are in terms of like, okay, we really got to just penny pinch in that sense. You could literally like, especially Nintendo, they be missing out on hella money just by trying to just a little bit of cleanup work, make sure the servers are good or something like that. If it's throw it on the eShop and you're good. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of series and franchises shutting down, I feel like there needs to be either that consideration of find a way to properly get it to a lane where it's minimal costing but it's still accessible for people in an open area or whatever, or you find a way to open source fully so people can take the reins, make something great with it, and you get the recognition years down the line. So it's one of those few things, or throw it on a Game Pass or something like that for free. You know what I mean? Just throw it as like a free incentive or something like that. You get that game to keep forever, even if you don't get on Game Pass. Like, maybe the major companies like Xbox and Sony who have those subscription services, they can work with those companies who are shutting stuff down to like add those on top. So, just thoughts. But it sucks to see Unreal get shut down like this. Quite literally, the grandfather of all these FPSs, man. Like literally one of the OGs getting shut down like this is very tough to see. But
especially when something like Doom has life in like its own other spin-off. I think there's still a free-to-play Doom game right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. But hopefully there's some solution to all the competitive people who are involved in the community, and people just want to play Unreal, man. I know there was a point like a year or two ago when I was trying to play Unreal, and we were setting it up, and it never came to pass. But like I remember playing it, I was like, yo, but this is actually fun, man. It's low key dope.
Yeah,
and it's sad, bro. So it's a staple in the gaming space, especially for shooters. And yeah, it's just hopefully that we can find better solutions in the future for it.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the trailer trove here. Got a few stories talking about more watchable media and stuff like that happened from the past week. First and foremost, there's been some new rumblings about a Five Nights at Freddy's movie produced by Blumhouse, and they have casted Matthew Lillard and Josh Hutcherson for the film. So, you know what I'm saying? My boy Shaggy in there, and old boy from what's the name? Bread Boy from Hunger Games is in there. What's happening, bruh? What's happening?
I think Matthew Lillard being on the project would be sick. I would love to see him in this role. Same thing with what is it, Peter, whatever his name was? Yeah, like
Josh Hutcherson.
Like cool dudes, W Mans. I can't wait to see. I would actually be interested in seeing a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I'm never playing that game, no matter how much you pay me. So I would love to experience it in a different space.
Yeah, honestly, and I feel like Matthew was no stranger to like the horror, the spookier things
1000%
in film. So I feel like anything that he's gonna touch in there is gonna be solid. So so I have no fears about that. Josh Hutcherson either. I think he's a pretty good actor. You know what I'm saying? From most of the stuff that I've seen him in, he's been solid. So it should be good. I'm just interested to see how it is. They don't really have to do much in terms of like changing the plot. Like it's literally just pretty much the same plot line as the first game. Like, yo, listen, security guy comes in at night, weird shit start happening, and then you got to get out of there. Like I think it's pretty straightforward. But I'm wondering how the caricatures and performances of the animatronics would be. I feel like Matthew Lillard would definitely be one of the main animatronic people, and that will be a fire performance. So, interested. I'm actually pretty interested to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really can't wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And next story up, man. After a solid 12 hours of Henry Cavill being ousted from the Superman role, out of the Witcher role, out of everything. He was thrown out of everything and stuff. He was cast asunder. Literally in like the 12th hour and 1 minute after that, he found new direction with the swift report that Amazon have now picked up the right to create projects based in the Warhammer universe. They got the rights, they got the IP, and Cavill has been tipped to provide executive production and act in upcoming projects. Now, as we all know, this is the thing that he's always wanted to bring to life. He's always talked about Warhammer. He loves Warhammer, and now he has the reins to control how it comes out on screen. So, I mean, how you feel about that?
I'm very interested to see how they go about this. I'm a huge Warhammer fan. That's actually like the one franchise I don't think I've ever deleted off my computer is Dawn of War 1 and 2 and like the spin-offs. Because I really, really do love that franchise. I don't know. I just would love to know how they're going to start things off. Like, what are they going to... Are they going to go with the books first? Are we going to start off at the beginning? Or at least are we going to start off at the beginning of like the big change in the world, which is like the Horus Heresy, which is like an entire like there's so much in this grand universe. It's very interesting. And another thing is like, are we doing Warhammer 40K or are we doing Warhammer? I'm assuming this is just Warhammer the one that's like medieval times Warhammer, like the dark fantasy Warhammer, not the dark sci-fi one. So like when I first saw this, I thought it was 40K because I really love 40K. But I'm interested to see how they go about this because Warhammer is such an interesting fantasy world that I don't think a lot of people have been exposed to. A lot of it is very grim. A lot of it is dark. Like if you thought Witcher was dark, like it doesn't even really compare to how fucked up Warhammer is. I feel like every race in Warhammer has something that you would deeply despise in a human being. And that's what makes it super interesting and great. I can't wait to see it. I think it's in good hands with Cavill. Obviously, very much no distractions from him. Very much has a lot of time on his hands to bring this project to life, and I really can't wait to see what comes of it.
Yeah, nah, I'm just happy for him that he literally like he was like, oh shit, Witcher was ass. You know what I'm saying? There's not cooperating with source material. Let's get out of there. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Let's roll into this. I'm back at Superman. That's crazy. The Rock brought me back out there. It's crazy. The Rock did what? Huh? What? And he's gone in like 12 hours and he's out of there. He's just sitting down like, what to do? Then Amazon calls him up at like 3 p.m. like a few hours after that. He's like, hey, bro, we got Warhammer. You want in? I guess so. And so he's literally in this chain of events gone from out of 2 shows to into the literal project that he wanted to actually put work in. He said if like 22 years in the game, he wanted experience to have this moment, to be able to work on this project and, you know, build out this universe. So I'm excited to see what he puts into it. I've honestly been excited I've been genuinely interested in Warhammer for a good amount of time now, honestly, especially since I met Wen, and Wen's been talking about it periodically ever since, you know, we've been boys. So I'm very interested to see how it is. I don't know where to start with Warhammer or Warhammer 40K. I need to get into it soon though, because I want to kind of be ready. I want to be ready for like, you know, book wise, game wise, just like have at least general thoughts in my head. At least have a favorite army or race. You know what I'm saying? Before we do it. The look on your face says, nigga, you got a lot of work to do.
It's like you're never gonna be ready with this franchise. And like if we're talking 40K, I don't know everything about 40K, and I talked to my boy Justin, who knows more than me, and like I'll learn shit. But with this, it kind of became like, what kind of game do you want to play? And I can put you onto a game that will lead into an interest. Like I started reading the books, but I read the books that I'm on are like before a big event, are so far behind where the games take place, because there's one big event that happens and like this is the games, this is the books. So it's a lot. It's one of those, it's one of those things where it's like it depends on how you want to engage with the medium, and then I can give you recommendations. And then it's like, if you want to find out about the other shit, there are like 5-6 hour YouTube videos explaining all of this stuff if you want to watch one of those, which I did for Destiny. Like I recommend those as well. It's very interesting. Or you can enjoy piece by piece and just find interesting stories, because that's another thing.
Okay. All right. We'll figure it out. But bottom line is, I'm interested to see what comes of this, and I want to be ready for when this thing drops. I want to be really excited for when this thing drops. So you know what I'm saying? Good on Cavill.
The best way I could describe getting into Warhammer is like getting into D&D. Like you hear about D&D and you're like, it's like all these different areas that you can like explore D&D in. But like if you just want to be a fan of Warhammer, just play whatever. You'll get there.
Word. Yeah. I might have to get on Dark Tide then because it looked fun. I ain't gonna lie.
It is.
Yeah, I'm about to get on it, man. We'll see. But shout out to that. Moving on to the next story here. James Cameron was back in the headlines this week, but not only for overgassing the fuck out of the Blue Man Group movie, but for Terminator as well. He's expressed that there's a chance that he could go back into the Terminator franchise and reboot it down the line with a focus on more of the AI side before the robots went all bad at Skynet. So, thoughts on this?
Like the thing about the Terminator franchise, it's so tainted now with bad movies that I just don't even like. Oh, and more Terminator, cool. Like the most I enjoyed Terminator was like the arcade games that I play when I go to like round one. Like that's about as much engagement as I got out of the franchise. I definitely plan on like watching the older ones and like trying it, like actually, because I know there's reasons why it blew up to the way it did, and it's not just because we love Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like
T1 and T2 was gas.
Yeah, like I'm definitely gonna give it another go, but every time I hear new Terminator, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard the phrase new Terminator and good in the same sentence, so we'll see.
Nah, yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Dark Fate was Genesis was and there was, you know what I'm saying, Salvation was there's different levels to it. But yes, I do highly suggest go back to Terminator 1 and 2 because those are literally like one of the best movies and literally probably the best sequel of all time. Like it's definitely up there. So in terms of reboot idea, it would be interesting to see the AI side and just because now this day and age a bit more modernized version of how the AI reacted and then everything became the way it was when all the T1000s and shit like that. And I'm good, honestly. I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't need a reboot of this franchise. I'm just gonna hold the good memories of T1 and 2 in my head. You know what I'm saying? Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger just saying I'll be back, and I'm cool. Honestly, and he's gonna be too old at this point to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. I ain't gonna lie. Arnold Schwarzenegger is do some crazy shit, but still, I don't want to see him like that. I don't want to see like, you know what I'm saying? Why do you suit up a whole cybernetic organism in an old man suit? Like, why did you put him in that skin? You know, like what's happening? So I'm okay, James. You know what I'm saying? You could just stick to the purple people. Y'all got them. Just stay over there. Just leave Terminator alone, and we'll be good. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Get that shit out. Anyways, in an interview with Collider, Amazon TV studio head Vernon Sanders explained that the upcoming God of War TV series will stay very faithful to the source material, and the team of Mark Fergus, Rafe Judkins on showrunning, and Hawk Ostby on writing are making a balance of source material and compelling story on its own merit. So, thoughts on this and just the general perception of what video game adaptations got to do?
I think that they're in a different position. I think the best video game adaptation till this day is still very much Arcane. And the reason I think that Arcane was made so well was because they were given a lot of leeway. Because in League of Legends, you can really kind of rewrite the lore. Like, people read the lore. It has a really rich lore, but a lot of the people that engage with the franchise, they don't know what the fuck's going on, right? Like they're picking the best characters they want to play or whatever. So when you have that much freedom, you get to have creative freedom. Like they gave a blank slate to a really good team, and now we have this amazing thing. Now with God of War, it's very different because I didn't play God of War for the multiplayer aspect. There was only one game that had multiplayer, wasn't that good. So like I'm here for the Kratos story. So now I know the Kratos story, so it's really like, how are you gonna make this not only enjoyable for new people, but enjoyable for the God of War fans? Because that's your target audience. Video game adaptations are very tricky because you have an audience that knows what to expect. It's like walking into Hunger Games if everybody read the books. If everybody read the Hunger Games books, that movie wouldn't have gotten way more criticism than it did. But because people don't read, you're able to take a book and change a bunch of shit in it. This, not so much. A lot of people have engaged with this content. A lot of people who are looking forward to this content have already engaged with the content. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they go about it. I think they have a pretty big task ahead of them, but judging by the fact that they're staying close to the source material, I don't think that this could go in a negative direction.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is like casting and what are they gonna partake in terms of the story? Because I know it's gonna be around like the God of War 2018 range, like taking that area. Are they gonna do like a different story around there? Maybe weave some of the game's points from there into it, or something else? I don't know. There's a lot of variables that I feel like they have to nail down correctly, you know what I'm saying, to give themselves at least some room to have some interpretation of stuff. Because if you're just following the same roller coaster path of God of War 2018, you're going to get scrutinized 100% of the time. If you preface this with, hey, listen, there's some off stories that maybe Kratos had that you didn't see, maybe there's some adventures that he had in the meantime with the stuff that the game didn't show, and maybe that's there. Maybe it could be in that gap between God of War and God of War Ragnarok, and that's a whole 4 years where they could have done stuff that people didn't see. And I feel like that's a really good place for them to be at, because it gives you enough of the backstory and lore of the previous game, and it gives you some room to tell you, hey, listen, what did we even do in this? All it said in Ragnarok is we trained. All it is that we trained in this time gap. What happened? So there is a very, very tough task in terms of picking the right time frame for them. Casting is also another one. Just put Christopher Judge in there, by the way. But the casting is very tough because you got to nail that down. You got to nail down the right, just the people who bring the right air to those characters, man. Because if we see like a Balder, there's got to be a right air about Balder when he pulls up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that. And again, in general, like I said before, the story, how can you give yourself enough breathing room to have some interpretive moments that fit better to the screen, rather than stay on that one track of, oh, this is all from the game, we're all servicing the game, but then it might not translate to the people who are just TV watchers. So yeah, it's tough, but this is one of those weird projects. I can't put my exact reason why, but I just have a bit more faith than others. I have like 95% faith in the Last of Us show that it'll actually be decent, because I feel like they, it's cut on paper. It's pretty much, nailed on that it's going to be a good show because it was a really good game. And, those Sony games have that air about them where, it could easily be a cutscene movie. Just paste them all together. You know what I'm saying? God of War isn't that elk, but it's dealing with a bit more, like supernatural type things. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like the mythos of certain people and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a thinner tightrope, but I think it's something that can be landed upon. They could stick the landing on this, so I'm very interested to see how God of War goes. The casting decisions, I think when that update comes out, I'm very interested to see the reaction to that as well. But honestly, best of luck to them, man. Again, I want all these shows to be dope because more people are gonna look at video games and then just add into the medium and pour into the medium. So the more good adaptations we have, the better it is for all of us, man. Don't give us no 2003 Dwayne Johnson Doom, bro. So I'm gonna suplex somebody, bro. Oh my gosh. All right, man. Moving forward here to the Across the Spider-Verse trailer. Listen, I know Charles didn't make you not see it. So how'd you feel about the trailer, man?
I think it looked good. I think it was interesting. I understand the hype around it. I can't say that I was as excited. I was just like, oh, this is cool. There's a bunch of different Spider-Man. I'm sure some of us might have watched it 17 times at this point. I watched it like maybe once, maybe twice, and I was like, this is a great movie. But I kind of figured, I didn't know we were gonna be going. I knew we were gonna be going into the multiverse. It was just like interesting to see like all the different Spider-Man. I didn't know that we were gonna play that big of a role that quickly. Seeing Miguel O'Hara as what I'm assuming is the villain of this story is interesting as well, because I was expecting Miguel to bring Spider-Man from the past to the future. Like that's what I thought the plan was. But again, don't really know what's gonna happen. I can't wait to see what happens. I think that this is gonna be the one and only trailer that I watch of this. I might watch the second one. We'll see. Because it's one of those things where it's like, I think it told me everything that I needed to know. Anything else would just be spoiler. Like, I don't really need to know everything else.
I agree on this one, honestly. I agree. It gives you enough context of what's going on. Like, hey, listen, he pulled up a lot of spiders on his ass. That's pretty much all the context I need, you know what I'm saying, at this point. Like, it's cool to see all the different cameos, you know what I'm saying? Spectacular Spider-Man, PS4 Spider-Man, PS1 Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? Spider-Punk. Like, there was spiders galore, and I'm very happy that I saw all the ones that I did. I'm like, all right, cool, that's nice. We'll see what happens when I watch the movie. But honestly, this gonna be another banger. I'm sorry, I'll call it now. shot now. Caught it in the trailer too though. So there was like a little still when he was like facing the enemy, like the spot or whatever in the store, and on the bottom left it was like, oh yeah, there's like food options. He was eating a beef patty, and it was like a Jamaican store at the front because he had like beef patty, ackee, and saltfish and stuff like that on the thing. I was like, this is now the best Spider-Man project ever. I'm sorry, just off of Jamaican bias. Now it is the best Spider-Man project of all time. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations, clap it up for him. Let's call it a day, man. But yeah, this is a banger, man. This is a banger. I can't wait to see when it drops.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait.
And the last story for the trailer trove here, we got another huge bomb as news dropped of a brand new Avatar series. No, not the blue people. Following the story of the next Earthbender Avatar after Aang and Korra coming in 2025 from Paramount and Avatar Studios. So, new Avatar, you know what I'm saying, right after Korra. A lot of stuff going, you know what I'm saying, be very, very different. People are going to be mad at a new protagonist just because he's a new protagonist. How do you feel?
I think that the new Earthbender is going to be sick. I'm excited because I actually really love Earthbending. It's probably my favorite element.
Yes, sir.
I kind of wanted them to explore a little bit of the years leading like up to the second Avatar, just because I know that's where like the big wars are happening, and that's what I would be interested in watching. But I'm really happy that they're continuing the franchise. I'd love to see where they're going to go with it, and hopefully this time it'll be supported. We'll see what an Avatar show looks like that's fully supported, like a sequel to an Avatar show that's fully supported. I know that the debates of which of the three Avatar series is the best is going to be insufferable, and I'm going to hate it. But I'm excited to get more Avatar because it definitely could be a really, really good show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm very interested to see how this rollout is. I believe we're supposed to get something Avatar next year, and if it does come out next year, you know what I'm saying, that would be a good taste tester for how everything's gonna roll out. But this sounds really good. Again, I'm with him. I roll with Earthbenders, you know what I'm saying? That's my element right there. I'm rocking with it, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Boomy, shout out to all the, you know what I'm saying, the squad out there and stuff like that. But I think it'll be pretty good. And based off of how Korra left off, you know what I'm saying, people were talking about it's like, yo, it's gonna be a tough time because like this new person, only person they got to talk to in the Avatar state is Korra. At this point, the only person they got to talk to was her. So what's gonna be the dialogue? That's gonna be hilarious. Imagine this, like, yo, what the fuck did everybody? Korra there, like, hey, I don't know what to tell you, dog. Don't know what to tell you. So I'm very interested to see how this pans out. I think this is gonna be, again, I need more Avatar in my life, anyways. It's all good, you know what I'm saying, and. Like Gwen said, to have a full slate of projects, you know what I'm saying? There's the young Avatar, the young Aang movie. There's supposed to be like an adult Aang squad movie coming out in 2024 or something like that. There's multiple projects in the air right now that are coming down the pipeline for Avatar stuff. So to see this come through, I want it to be fully supported. I want people to be behind it. And yeah, man, let's make sure it's here to stay this time.
1000%. I hope that it doesn't get done dirty.
Mm-hmm. For real. I must agree. And yeah, that's it for the trailer trove. But let's talk about the review, man. 2022, an insane year, a crazy year, man. So many games dropped, companies acquired and dismantled, slash in the process of being acquired. Random white kids jumping up on stages for award shows, a whole bunch of other crazy moments, man. So let's start here, man. So what was probably some of the biggest and wildest, you know, crazy stories in gaming for you this year?
I mean, probably the Xbox acquisition of, like, I think that one was probably the one that I feel like has actually showed its weight in the world, because we're still talking about it to this day. Like a lot of stuff has been lost in the sauce, and it's really tough because it's hard to think of all the crazy things that's happened this year. But I want to say that was probably the one that stuck with me the most, because I'm till this day we're still thinking about like what's gonna happen, what's going on, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that would probably have to be the largest, like, yo, holy shit moment. Like, it just got real. And the crazy thing is, like, what was it? Was it Take-Two or somebody got acquired, or they acquired something earlier? So it was like, yo, we just got off the heels of a big acquisition at that point in time. We were like, all right, whatever, we'll see what happens next. That was a crazy acquisition. That we buying the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then everything just came through, and I was like, that's wild. What else happened this year, bro? I mean, Embracer just like acquired like 4 companies, 5 companies, 6 companies back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was very, very ridiculous. What else? Oh, my favorite wild story, just like the one I was out of pocket. Definitely artesian builds. The artesian story
Oh
was the
yeah,
funniest
that
shit
was a
ever.
really good one.
That was the funniest shit ever. I'm sorry. It was literally like a 2-week span of just absolute like devolving into chaos. Everything was good just a week ago. Quite literally. That was the prime example of everything was all good just a week ago. And it was bad. It was bad, boy.
No, yeah, it was.
Yo, bruh, they still paying back taxes and stuff for all the shit they doing right now. Right now, to get State California getting them packed up, bro. Listen, half of their PCs at an auction right now, still in circulation.
For
That
sure.
was a very, very crazy story. But that one, definitely that kid, the kid of the Game Awards, that was definitely a late contender because I was like, that was a very much fever dream type of moment. Like,
yeah.
what the fuck is this nigga? What is he? Yeah, that was a very wild one. And you know what? I also throw it there, just the phenomenon of Elden Ring. The phenomenon of Elden Ring was definitely the biggest moment in gaming this year. Definitely the biggest.
Oh yeah, that
Like,
was huge. It was definitely a moment. Everybody was getting into it.
yeah, outside of just the general news stuff, just in terms of gaming as a whole, Elden Ring was the biggest thing that came out this year, bro. The fact I would have never expected that game to get the mainstream love that it did. Like it was very, very, very wild. I don't know. It was like the perfect storm, to be real, because it was on talk shows, it was on interviews, it was on Bloomberg, CNN, all this stuff, doing crazy numbers and whatnot. And everybody was trying it, bro. Everybody and their mother was into it, man. Like you couldn't find a channel on Twitch that was not streaming it for at least at one point during a week. You know what I'm saying? That category was stacked for months at a time. Like from March to about maybe like September, October, it had literally long-standing buzz like that, and it's still getting traction in the categories today. That's insane. I don't think it's hard to judge of what game has done something like that. Either that or Among Us. Among Us is like that's the only comparable situation I can think to Elden Ring. I feel like Elden Ring is even worse because that's when people started going outside way more often. Like Among Us was good timing just because everybody was on lockdown pretty much mostly throughout society. But even though people started going back outside, Elden Ring just came through and was like, hey, listen, we here, bro.
Yeah.
Come in the house, bro. Come play.
1000%. It was definitely a big ass movement. Its effect is definitely something that was felt because I feel like we were talking about that game for months, and people are still talking about that game.
100%. You know how crazy your game is that you can absolutely kill the marketing of a PlayStation exclusive within like 3 weeks. You can literally murder a PlayStation game in 3 weeks. No slight and no offense to Horizon. You know what I'm saying? I still got to go back and, you know what I'm saying, go through it. I'm pretty sure it's a really solid game, but son, tell me what you saw. Tell me what buzz you saw past Elden Ring's release date of Horizon's Forbidden West. Tell me. Not a damn shred. Not a news report. Not a nothing. I ain't hear nobody did it, bro. Not even Amish people was playing Horizon, bro. They was all on Elden Ring, bro. It was all on Elden Ring. Churn butter, Elden Ring, sleep. That was what they was on. Insane times. But yeah, bro. Shout out Elden Ring. Definitely, I think the biggest moment in gaming this year. Moving to your favorite game announcement of 2022. We had a fair number of them. It was definitely a better year. I think it was an up year for game announcements and what's coming down the pipeline. But what do you think was your favorite?
So far, it would be Death Stranding. Death Stranding 2. Street Fighter 6, because technically I think it got announced this year. I was able to play it, so I feel like it's been announced forever now. But like, Street Fighter 6 was nuts, and Tekken 8 was really, really good. It's not the best because I want more. But Tekken 8, when that shit dropped, that shit was crazy. I was having a heart attack. So I'd have to say those 3 were the best announcements of of this year.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm trying to think what all was announced this year for real. I got my top one. I lied. Kingdom Hearts 4. What the
Oh
hell?
yeah, I forgot about that.
Not a soul expected that thing to even come through, bro. I was like, what, bro? Midday, they had me shook. Midday, they had me shook. I was out of my mind, bro. I was out of my mind. I was like, bro, I'm content with life, and it come through and mess up my schedule like that. I damn near lost my voice when I seen it. This man was in the streets, in Quadratum, just running up on all big ass Heartless, bro, in normal life.
Yeah.
And yeah, that announcement took me out. Clear as day. You already know what it is with me. You know what I'm saying? We on, you know what I'm saying? We Kingdom Hearts. We Kingdom Hearts for life. That's how it is. So I saw that. That was definitely my favorite by far. But other ones, damn, what really did get announced this year? I can't even remember, bro. Summer Game Fest announcements. Aside from,
I can't even think of many things that were announced at that time either. Like that Street Fighter, I think was the only thing that I was watching that I was like, whoa. But
yeah, probably that. Oh, also another big gaming moment. I will say it probably wasn't the biggest, but it was pretty big. Is EA breaking away from FIFA. Because I never would have expected them to actually break away. This is like more of a sport niche thing, but I was like, yo, holy shit, they're actually like not gonna be a thing anymore, which is insane.
Yeah,
I've never seen that ever in my life. What really? I mean, nothing else was crazy. Nothing else was crazier to me than Kingdom Hearts, in my opinion, my personal biased opinion. But then, of course, there was the Death Strandings. Armored Core coming back was actually pretty crazy because I never thought they would make another one like that, at least that this soon. You know what I'm saying? And we might hear some more news about that sooner than we think. Yeah. Aside from that, that's all I thought it was, bro. Yeah. That's pretty much it for my favorites. That was only Kingdom Hearts, bro. Sorry, I only got eyes for one, baby. I only got eyes for one.
No, I completely understand it. I feel like this year, I feel like 2021 was where we got a lot of announcements, and this year has just been like getting those games out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, we'll talk about it in the next topic. But I feel like it's like gap type stuff. But we'll see it. But favorite gaming moment from this year. I'm gonna skip that one. Skip over and then come back to the other one. But favorite gaming moment.
Favorite gaming moment for me. Probably Worlds. League of Legends Worlds was like nuts. It went to like, so it's best of 3, but both. Not best of 3, it's best of 5, but both teams won 2. Like it was fucking insane. We were up until like 1 a.m. watching that game, and it was heartbreaking to see Faker not win. But like that, and this is weird because like last year I would have not been watching fucking I would not be watching esports period. But that was probably my favorite gaming moment because that was like watching the Super Bowl for me. Like I'm excited for next year. This is gonna be heat.
Yeah, nah, that was definitely crazy. My favorite gaming moment might also coincide with some of my favorite game experiences from this year, but we can also get to that. But definitely playing zero build mode with the homies. That's
yeah. Oh, you mean like that? Okay, no, okay. I see what you're saying.
It can be personal as well. Yeah, it can be personal as well.
You.
You know what I'm saying? It could be whatever. It could be whatever you want. But definitely that's one of my favorite experiences. Like that was. After swearing I would never come back to Fortnite again, I expected to have zero fun. But that was probably one of the most fun experiences I've had playing with the homies, especially playing that Fortnite tournament that we had.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was 100% up there. We should have won that.
That multiverses tournament we did was also really fun.
The growth multiverses invitational is definitely one of the most fun experiences I've had. To preface this, I was super nervous trying to like help put it all together. Like when the double audio was happening. Also screw voice meter. I'm glad it's gone, so it'll never happen again. Another tournament setting again. Yes. When that happened, I was so nervous. And Mac, you're still the best for that. But the rest of the tournament was dope. Honestly, I enjoyed everything about that tournament. It was so awesome, honestly, being in that experience. It was such a good ass time, bro. It was such a good ass time. I was in a suit. I was acting a fool. Y'all were going crazy on commentary. Like, that was a moment. That was definitely a really good moment. I still have those clips, and I need to put those out.
No, that was a fun time.
Nah, most def, bro. Most def. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else? This isn't really gaming related, but growth related, bro. All the bracket fights. I'm gonna upload the Cartoon Network. I'm gonna upload the Cartoon Network one either before the year ends or at the beginning of next year, just like to set the tone right. You know what I'm saying? But that was a time. That was definitely a time and a half. Oh my gosh! No wonder we haven't done one in so long. It's been so peaceful. lately.
Yeah, I definitely don't miss the stress and anger that I had leaving those bracket battles. I hope we never bring those back.
We were so heated, bro. We might have to adjust the format. We have to save that for a special occasion. I ain't gonna lie, because that one, people were sparking off quick, bro. People were sparking off too quickly.
Dog, I'm gonna need a cigarette halfway through the damn thing.
Bro, if you pull a Newport out, I will die laughing. I will die laughing midway through the stream, man. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think 2022 game. If you had a personal one, go ahead.
No, I think Fortnite is up there. I think Dragon Ball Z in Fortnite was also was like huge up there.
Yeah.
Like I think just playing multiverses and just like gaming, honestly,
Yes.
like that's really. I completely agree with you. Like the Fortnite was definitely a huge W. We're definitely we gotta lock in for next week because we gotta get at least one day in.
Nah, for sure. You already know what time it is, man. But yeah, 2022 was definitely a super solid year in general. But you know, as we wrap it up, as we look towards the future, we got to see 2023, man. 2023 is only a few days away, and you know, this could be a huge year. So just to preface this, I'm gonna run through just a rough list of releases, but we're gonna talk generally about the year, and then you know, get into it. So for 2023. There's a lot of games coming through, man. There's One Piece Odyssey, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 3 R, I believe, coming back. Shin Megami Tensei, Persona 3 Portable. Let me see. And then what else is coming here? Forspoken, January 24th. Age of Empires 2, which I'm looking for. Actually, Age of what's it called? Age of Mythology. What else is coming through here? Let me see. Atomic Heart. We've been talking about that game for a little while. Like a Dragon coming out. Let me see, a bunch of VR stuff, blah blah blah. What else is coming through? Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Octopath Traveler 2, Destiny 2 Lightfall, Scars Above, Last of Us Part 1 on PC, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Let me see. Skull and Bones skip. Let me see. Jedi Survivor on March 17th. Resident Evil 4 remake on March 24th. Oh my gosh, it's too much. Like actually, quite literally too much. The Burning Shores DLC for Horizon Forbidden West, Dead Island 2 in April. Let me see. May, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, May 12th. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League on May 26th. Street Fighter 6 on June 2nd, Diablo 4 June 6th, Final Fantasy 16 June 22nd. Let me see. I'm about to say Legend of Heroes. I have no idea what that is. And there's a bunch of stuff to be announced for the rest of the year that we have no idea about, man. Just I'm about to say there's a whole bunch of stuff I have no idea. Alan Wake 2. Let me see. Angerfoot's supposed to drop. I fuck with Angerfoot. Assassin's Creed Mirage. Armored Core 6. We have no date for it. Could be next year. Could be the years after. That Avatar game, Frontiers of Pandora. Baldur's Gate 3. Let me see. There's actually literally too much. There's too many games. Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. There's so much. I ain't gonna lie, bruh. Anyways, too much shit. There's so much stuff that I haven't mentioned. But speaking generally first on 2023, how do you feel about how it's shaping up to be?
I think it's gonna be super sick. I'm actually excited for certain games. I'm actually excited for like shit like Fire Emblem Engage and shit like that. Like there's a lot of games that I'm excited for that I don't even know if I'm gonna have time to play. It looks like a very stacked year. It's gonna be a really good year if you want to play video games like that. I think it's gonna be really insane. This first half looks more geared towards, it's not, I don't think it's what's the word for it? I don't think this is gonna be like Elden Ring was last year, where like it felt like that was like
gonna be domination.
Domination. It's gonna be a lot of good things, a lot of variety, and I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how what people choose to engage with and what people want to talk about, because when Elden Ring took over, that's all anybody ever talked about. But like, I would love to see when Dragon Age, when Fire Emblem drops, who's gonna be talking about Fire Emblem, or who's gonna be talking about Dead Space, or are people even gonna be talking about that, and are they gonna be talking about Persona 4 because that's back out? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's gonna be really interesting to see what the space is gonna be like, and I'm excited because even if there is shit that I don't really care for that everybody's talking about, I know that I have shit that I care for that I'm going to start talking about.
Facts. There's actually, I'm looking back through the list. There's Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, Let me
Yes.
see. There's Thirsty Suitors, Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, the Plucky Squire. Shout out to Plucky Squire. I haven't heard that name in a little
That
bit.
game is
Hopefully it comes out
dope.
2023. The Lords of the Fallen is whatever. The Expanse of Telltale series. What's it called? Wolf Among Us 2 is also on the way. That's coming through. The System Shock remake was announced somewhere. There was a bunch of stuff, bro. There's actually too. It's too fucking much. It's too fucking much. Stalker 2 is supposed to still be there.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much. Replaced Remnant 2. Redfall, Ravenlock, like yo,
Blood Bowl 3. I don't know about that, but that's just gas.
Like, son, there's actually a ridiculous amount. The Nightingale, that one exploration.
No,
time
yeah, I
travel
know.
game with the
I know.
portals. Oh my gosh! Like, there's Spider-Man 2. How did we miss Marvel Spider-Man 2?
And
this entire list.
did you say Legend of Zelda?
Marvel Spider-Man 2. Oh my gosh! Like a Dragon Guided the Man Who Erased His Name, the throwback one. Like, bro, there's actually a ridiculous amount. It's too much.
Yeah.
But I'll speak generally on this year, or next year rather. 2023 will be I predict, a better year for gaming overall than the last, in terms of the amount and volume of releases that we've had that are incoming. Every month is damn near stacked. Every month there's at least one game that's in there. And if there isn't one game, there's one game for the previous month that's gonna stretch over. Like, when you think about like these waypoint games, like the big releases and stuff like that, of course you got the remakes, Dead Space remake in January, Forspoken in January. That might hold you over to like some around like March. You know what I'm saying? March will get there. You got a couple more games like, what's it called? Star Wars, Jedi Star Wars Survivor, Resident Evil 4 remake. That'll hold you till March, about April, May. Then April, May comes around. You get a huge title, a huge bomb like, what's it called? Legend of Zelda. You know what I'm saying? Legend of Zelda and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Then, okay, we'll wait till maybe like June. June, you got Final Fantasy 16 and Street Fighter 6. There's huge levels of overlap.
Yeah.
Into these releases. There's heavy hitters, and I feel like there's a good chance at least like I want to say 75% of these actually release on the date they're supposed to, or at minimum release in 2023. I think that most of these big hitters are on track to release in 2023. Now, I think, again, like I said before, this year will be a all-round better year for games because more stuff is coming through, especially on the the smaller side, like Plucky Squire, you know what I'm saying, Ravenlock, all these other smaller, you know what I'm saying, games like that. I hope we hear about some word of what's the name, Little Devil Inside. I miss hearing about that game so much. I really hope that there's gonna be something about that. Y'all can check my YouTube. I did a video on this like a while ago, and I'm like, bro, I really miss hearing about that game. I hope it's on track to release sometime soon. But in terms of games, I think it's gonna be all around because just the volume is ridiculous. And I feel like the quality and the volume is gonna be it's gonna be high. It's gonna be high. It's gonna be very, very much a contest for between this one and 2022. And I think for announcements is gonna get way better. Announcements is gonna be a bigger year, much bigger year. E3's coming back. Summer Game Fest is going to be there, you know what I'm saying? And in terms of the time cycle of everything, like, you know what I'm saying, we got a lot of games that came out with this year, but I think 2023 is going to be the full COVID bounce back for a lot of these studios. People have adjusted, people have done their things, people have, put stuff together. Now I feel like it's a time where a lot of these people are going to start getting geared up for, maybe the second half of the console, this console generation with the new Xbox and PS4, and also all these games that were being held out to make sure they were really at least polished enough to be shown off in this format. So 2023, I think is going to be a big year for, again, gaming announcements especially. We're going to see some different stuff, bro. I think we're going to see some real heavy hitters come out and just make themselves known, and I'm excited, man. 2023 is going to be a terrible year for my wallet, but an excellent year for my heart as a gamer.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm going to try to carve out as much time as I can so that I can enjoy as many of these games as I can because there is a lot to play.
Yeah, man. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and let me... okay. I kind of fucked up the order of this, but let me backtrack a little bit. For 2022, really quickly, what was your favorite game?
I fucking hate this question.
Or you can rattle off three. You can give me three.
I'm not giving you three. You're getting one.
Only one? All right, bet. Listen, I was trying to save you, dog. Do what you do.
I don't need to be saved, Trip. I don't need to be put in this position at all. My favorite game for this year. Oh damn, that's so tough. It's so tough because every time I think about this question, I think about games that I'm playing right now that aren't even from this year. But I would have to say the best game
No,
this
yeah, you
year.
can. That's included. That's included.
No.
I would
That's gonna
personally
make
include.
that's gonna make shit way harder. My
No, okay,
favorite
yeah,
game
right.
this year is
All right.
gonna be Stray. I think I'm gonna stick with Stray. It was a really,
Okay.
really, really, really fun game. I can't recommend it enough. And it was one of the few games that I've actually sat down and beat all the way through. Like I actually beat it. So I think that speaks volume for how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No. Fair. Honestly, I technically, one of those things that are up there. One of my options was definitely Fortnite because of zero build mode, and zero build mode came out in March. That
True.
technically
Yeah,
was a
no,
new
that makes
experience.
sense. That makes sense.
Technically, yeah, I'm about to say technically there's a new experience. I would say it's between either that Elden Ring or God of War Ragnarok. I had actually like too much fun with those. Um, Honestly, it could change by tomorrow, but right now I'm gonna say Ragnarok because I'm a story person. So you know what I'm saying. I love when people tell me good stories and shit. So they whisked me away very quickly, and I was very invested in the series, of course.
Yeah.
But you could really interchange it with Elden Ring and Fortnite any other day because I had so much fun with the other two that it was very like unimaginable like how much fun I had consistently. Also, I'll throw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles up there because that was
Oh,
a
that
fun
was
little
really
experience
good
as well.
too.
Very underrated experience from this year. I might throw Sifu in there too because I was
Sifu
very
was a good
invested in
game.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
Sifu,
I hate this question. It's a
Sifu
stupid
was the
question.
first time on stream that anybody saw me stressed. Anybody saw me mad. That was the first time anybody saw me mad on stream, bro. And that was during the Super Bowl, bro. I was mad. I wasn't even watching the game. I was just pissed off trying to get those levels through, bro. I had a headache. That's very special moments indeed. But yeah, we can leave it at that. We can leave it at that. But back to 2023. What game do you think is front runner for Game of the Year next year?
I want to say Forspoken, but I don't believe that. Like that's what I want to say, but I don't believe
I was about
that.
to say you tweaking.
Because I think if I had to say one game out of all these games that I'm seeing that I are confirmed for this year, this is
Okay.
very unprecedented. But I would give it to Street Fighter 6, but I don't think it's going to because it's a fighting game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would say Street Fighter 6 or this Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah. Okay. I was about to say I thought you weren't gonna mention Breath of the Wild. I'm like,
No,
that's
no,
coming out in May,
that
right?
could
You know
be.
that?
But the thing is, I also I could also see it not winning. I could also see
It could be
them.
crazy. Facts. You're not wrong. It cannot go as crazy as people think. You're
Yeah.
not wrong, bro. For me, the front runner is as much as it plays black people who aren't in that game. Final Fantasy 16. I feel like that game will.
I forgot about that. Actually, fuck Forspoken. I put Final Fantasy over Forspoken.
Man. I think that right now, everything that they've shown has been ridiculous. And the fact that they've been consistently showing stuff and giving us updates on their process, it means that they're going to be ready by that time. They picked an excellent time to release their game, middle of the summer. You know what I'm saying? Stuff's going to be, pretty much a good gap in time. The only thing they have to face is what's in their window? Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4 is at the beginning of the month. Final Fantasy 16 is at the end of the month. So there's enough of a time gap where they can just mow over anything else that's in the next couple months over. So
Oh my god.
I think they got a real good shot of being Game of the Year this year.
No, it does, but I also forgot Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be fully released, and that game's also really fucking good. Damn, this is a crazy year.
That could definitely be in there as well.
Yeah.
That could definitely be in there as well, man. It's a lot. It's a lot. That's why I'm saying I feel like this next year is gonna be way better just because of the level of competition. I really enjoyed the I guess you can call it by popular vote 2-horse race of Elden Ring and God of War, and that was cool. But there was also some really games in there. Don't discredit it, but I'm talking about from purely an award standpoint. It's not a 2-horse race. It's not just a simple hand it to this person. You know what I'm saying? From the beginning of the year, I feel like it's going to be a closer race. The nominees are going to be very very tightly contested in an awards format, and we're going to see, man. It's not set in stone. It's not set in stone.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy year.
Crazy. Again, my wallet is very very much scared for its life, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got on the show notes, man. Jeez, it's been a long year, bro. It's been a very very long year. But anything that we might have missed before we close it out?
No, man, I don't think we missed anything.
Yeah, no, shoot. Yeah. Then in that case, hey man, listen, I just want to stop before I throw it back to you for a closing note and say thank you to everybody who supported for 2022. Really our first year through. Now over the line, you know what I'm saying, 1 year and almost episode 50. But when we start the new year, it'll be episode 50, which is actually insane. We only missed 2 episodes the entire year. That's fucking consistency. I
Yeah.
don't care what nobody says. That's damn well consistency if I ever seen it. So uh appreciate everybody who just supports, likes, retweets all the stuff on socials. What's it called, just listens to the podcast, rates us 5 stars, stays in tune with all the updates and everything going on. We're coming bigger and better next year, bro. We got a lot of plans to make things a lot more streamlined, trying to get a lot more eyes on the podcast as well through different platforms. We'll stay tuned for all the details and developments on that stuff. Again, like we said, beforehand on the 10th when we celebrate the anniversary, just more stuff, man. We're planning to really add, a lot more just quality and do different stuff. We want to have a lot of different people on here as well. I think that's a really big point for next year, for 2023. We want to see some more people in this format, just chopping up games and also talking about the dope people in the community that we can, reach out to and talk to and just showcase, man. Like there's some dope people I wanted to chop it up with. I know Wen as well. We got an eye on a lot of people that, we wanted to, finally talk to, get in the studio and really just sit down and just talk shop with and, talk about them. So can't wait for that as well. Yeah, man, I gotta say thank you, man. So any thought on 2022's wrap up and what we got next, when, and closing notes?
We got a lot more pessimism. We got a lot more hating on just general gaming as it is as a whole. I for sure will be less enthused as the days go on. No, I'm kidding. We have a lot of fun topics coming up. We have a lot of interesting ideas. I'm excited. Again, like crazy ass consistency. Shout out to Ship, because if it were up to me, we'd be canceling like every other week. I'm very lazy, not a man of action whatsoever. But he's kept me consistent. We're here. We're making the content for you guys, and I'm really happy that you guys have enjoyed it so much. And I'm happy to be able to be the voice that you guys listen to. I appreciate you for choosing us. I definitely, that's not something we take for granted over here. So be on the lookout. We have a lot more things coming up, and be on the lookout this next week. A lot of us are free, so a lot of us are gonna be trying to do some collabs, playing some games. I know for sure I'm gonna try to stream like every day, because like I've been itching to stream, and now that I have the free time, I don't see why not. So definitely gonna be a lot more streams, a lot more videos, and a lot more collaborations. So make sure you guys check the space.
100%, man. In terms of the podcast, of course, you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Rate us 5 stars there, and check us out on all other podcast platforms and everywhere else at No Cooldown. Just search NO Cooldown. You'll find us there, especially on Stitcher Radio, Google Podcasts, of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor as well. Make sure you check out the video version on Spotify and as well on YouTube at WOTAKU channel on YouTube. Check out When Easy's Twitters at the When Easy. You can check me out on everything at That Man Trip. Also check out at All for Growth as well. We just hit our year anniversary on that as well a couple of days ago, so shout outs to that. I also just noticed our anniversary is the day that Black people get powers on Twitter, so wonderful synergy. I'm about to say love to see it there. Make sure you check us out, of course, over the next week. A lot of collabs coming next year. Be a big year for content, so you guys don't want to miss it. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell your dead fish to revive them, and then tell them before they go off into the light again that we're coming, bro. No Cooldown about to get crazy. It's gonna be a fun time, and yeah, can't wait to see how we develop and how we can give back to y'all, man. So appreciate you guys, love you guys so much. This has been No Cooldown episode 49 for 2022, and we are out of there, and we're good.
Yo, what's up, Chels?
That is it.
Trip did all them upgrades to not be streaming. That's funny as shit.
Shut the fuck up. Who the fuck said that? Y'all shut
Oh, that's
your
funny.
ass up, bruh. I've been doing other things. I've been editing Slack.
That's so funny.
Oh man, yeah, no, I have not streamed in a week though. I ain't gonna lie. The weekend change. It'd probably be like 9 days. I'll be on this. Well, not this weekend. I'll be on next week because literally I have nothing else to do.
Yeah, no, Charles, we're streaming now. Like, that was the podcast. I'm about to go eat. And if you want to play something on stream, let me know. If not, I can figure out what the fuck I'm gonna play. I don't know what I'm gonna play yet, but I'm gonna play something because I got like 3 hours before Ro gets here, and I feel like streaming. So I'm gonna shut this shit down, and then restart it back up later. And like maybe like I'll probably start off at like 4 o'clock or so.
Word. I'm gonna be in the cut, and if y'all running Fortnite or something like that, I'll probably hop in, see what's going on with the people downstairs and get some food because I ain't ate all day.
Yeah, so hit me up on the Discord, Joss. But yeah, I'm down for whatever, so let me know. I'm closing this shit out, so I will catch you guys next time. Wotaku out.